Well, we made it. It's Friday, November 15th. Welcome to ATI Pro Media. I think we got a good show. A little light on headlines, talking about some of the same things, but it seems like we always got to update it. No flash sales today, right? But we still got some export news. Also, some kind of breaking news out of China, right? We talk a lot about used cooking oil. I think we have a little bit of an update there, and it's not related to tariffs. So interesting to see that I saw that this morning. And also, we've got green on the screen as well. Ugly day yesterday. We've got soybeans rallying pretty good on the back of this used cooking oil, soybean oil news. And with that, boy, do we have a special guest for you. Bring him in, none other than Tommy Grisafi. How we doing, Tommy?
Oh, it's Sweater Friday. Happy to be here. Can you hear me?
Yeah, loud and clear.
Kind of nice not to have that headset on, but I got all types of other stuff
I
going
gotta
on
tell
here.
you look great.
Well, some people just wake up looking like this, and others have to work at it. Looking at the markets real quick, we'll just read them off. We don't have to
Sure,
go to LaSalle Street, but Ed, let's take
we're
a walk
going.
down there. Joe and Rick say we're going. Get walking, boys. Corn's up a half after being down a penny. Beans are up 10. Nice to see that bounce. Meal up. Soybean oil ripping up. Border trade wheat, KC wheat, hard red wheat all up. Cattle down a little. Feeder cattle have a bid. Not quite sure why. Maybe B Huck can tell us why. Hogs 50 lower. Wall Street it is. That great street. Let's go. Dow Jones down 270. S&P down 56. NASDAQ down 330. It's moving real fast, everyone. This is where we get into trouble. 2s, 5s, 10s, 30s, all lower, which mean rates are going up. They had Jay Powell on the stage yesterday trying to talk his way out of why interest rates are going up. Gold up, silver up, Dr. Copper, ring the bell, going up. Natural gas lower. That's had a heck of a run. Crude oil down 45, drill baby drill 67, 80. You got some people out there talking about $50 crude. Bitcoin, the little engine that could, up 1,300 at 89,000. Wow, that's incredible to say. All right, that's that. We have some interesting things going on. 1 week from today, December options expire, right?
Is that correct? Yeah, you're
Yeah.
right. Wow, gosh, that comes on
And you
fast. I
know
can't
what went
believe
bye yesterday?
what's that?
Bye bye. November, big word there. November soybeans, done. So once we go D's options done, then we talk D's futures done, and then we're talking about March contracts, and then we talk about carries and basis appreciation. I had a bunch of clients calling the other day, got all excited because the basis improved 10 cents in North Dakota. And they said this market's going to rip higher. I don't know why farmers still think when the basis improves that the market's going to rip higher versus that they're wealthy as heck. We have record land sales in North Dakota. They just got done putting the crop in the bin. And the trains were late. Don't forget, Connor, they thought they were going to have a wet crop and may let it stay out in the field. We had the most beautiful warm fall ever. So the trains are starting to show up for JFM. It's funny, I had to call one of them back. I said, boy, that was a great call on how corn futures are going to rip higher. We're down 8 today. But he's a good sport. So he, trust me, he would do it to me. What say you, youngster?
Yeah, well, it's been, if we look back, we don't need to pull up charts, but it's been kind of an ugly week when we're looking at grain markets, right? Yesterday was especially, we really saw some selling. We're getting a decent bounce, not even close to recovering on soybeans, but I think most of it's on the back. And I don't know if you quoted it up on soy oil, Tommy, but I saw this headline is China is going to cancel their 13-cent export tax rebate for used cooking oil. Okay. And so when you hear this used cooking oil, how does that affect me? Well, the big story was, right, if we're going to see biodiesel, if we're going to be crushing soybeans in house, right, used cooking oil that we are importing from China is really infringing on that market. And so when you start talking, here's the buzzword we've been saying is tariffs, right? The story is that soybeans to China, right, it's not exactly fantastic, or if we see tariffs, it's going to hurt. And then also you start factoring in the used cooking oil coming in, right? I don't know how tariffs, it's kind of a wild card how tariffs are going to affect soybeans. But as you can see, we kind of got China stepping up and saying, no, we're going to cancel that export tax rebate. And because of that, we got soy oil on a good run today.
Mm-hmm. It's interesting, flipping back to outside markets a little bit. I was up really early this morning. how some of these individual stocks in healthcare and other things are performing, food stocks, but the companies who make, I don't even want to say the word, we'll get shadow banned, but who make special medicines for special things are at lower prices than when we had that major event 4 years ago. So there's a whole list of them. They went over them this morning, but with Robert Kennedy Jr. coming in, this is would explain some of this stock market weakness. And us in ag, we still need to figure out, is China going to buy all our grain, or are we going to put a giant tariff on them, and our farmers going to be
absolutely
compensated with that? So,
and I'll take it one step farther. You're I don't even know if you know the next headline, but you're segueing beautifully.
I have no clue. I was getting pretty.
We're talking about tariffs to China, right? I think we need to talk about our number one corn buyer, and our number one corn buyer by a mile. That's Mexico. I saw this headline, right? And yeah, pop it up. There we go. Third time's a charm. There we go. Mexico president to present constitutional safeguard for non-GMO corn in coming days. Okay. And so you get a little scared when you read that. They're mostly talking about white corn, right? What goes in the tortillas. Most of that they produce in Mexico, and it's a small piece. Most of the yellow corn goes to livestock feed. But something like that could disrupt, whether it's tariffs, whether was that a year ago or 2 years ago when we were really going for that battle of they didn't want any GMO corn at all, right, in there from the United States. That's kind of a temper, but anything that derails that Mexico is our top corn buyer, right, I don't like it. It's anything, it's been an export rally. We saw exports released yesterday, and so it's going to be interesting to see, but it's not as scary as a headline as I think. I do want to say that, right, when we talk non-GMO corn to Mexico, they're mostly thinking about white corn, Tommy.
Okay, yeah, a lot of interesting things. Now, one of the benefits of yesterday's sell-off was we should see phenomenal demand come in the back end. Is this all front end loaded, or is it going to stay consistent? Bottom line is American farmers produce a really high quality grain more affordably than it's just easier to come over here and buy it. So the economics of supply and demand may kick in. Now that's where we'll see some things in the spread and the basis and everything else. But hey, let's talk about December options expiring next week. I find it absolutely amazing that a D's $4 put has almost zero value. Today, 500 D's $4 puts traded at a quarter of a cent. For you home gamers, that's $12.50. I find it wild that the market doesn't really think corn could go lower there, as we're starting to possibly hear rumblings of a Ukraine war ending. And I've always thought, we haven't talked about a lot, but what happens if and when the announcement comes out that it's over? Maybe nothing. I don't know. But nonetheless, I know. Oh, also, if we would have had that announcement a few years ago, corn was $2-3 higher. So that's why we were so sensitive to those headlines. Now thinking back, let's real quick. Yes, sir.
Well, I got two things, and number one is I think when you're thinking about that war ending, we got to put the factor in that Ukraine and Russia both have gotten very good at exporting a good amount corn, wheat throughout this war. And then number two, you're talking about the bid ask on a $4. Do the same thing on soybeans, Tommy. Go down to like a Jan, March, whatever you want to look at. How far down can you go where you get a big bid ask, right? If we go down to like $9, right?
You want me to look at a Jan $9 put?
Yeah.
Please stand by. Operators are standing by. Here they are, 2.1 cents, 2.1. Call it 2.2. Plus, you got to pay your friendly broker a little something.
Yeah.
And or you can click the mouse, do it yourself, whatever the heck works for you.
Jan Beans at $10 right now. That's going to expire in December. But
let's go the other way. Jan Beans at $10. Where's a Jan $11 call for you super premium sellers?
Yeah.
2 cents. Isn't that interesting? 2.2. If you think beans are going up to 11, you can 2 cents get her done. If you think beans are going to 9, 2 cents will get her done. Although you're going to need to buy something a little healthier than that. I would say that options are still affordable, and there's a reason. We're going nowhere fast. Interesting enough, with yesterday's sell-off, my phone started to ring. Hey, what's going on? What's this? Think about where we were 1 week ago Friday. I think you and I might have live streamed, then you and Brady kicked butt on the crop report, and I told you I wanted to trade the crop report personally, and I watched beans go from down 6 to up 22. They came out with that Lighthizer announcement. If I apologize if I'm not saying his name correctly. and we went from up 22 to down 4, and incredible volatility happening. We do have a little sad news out of North Dakota. Can I read it to you?
Yeah, what you got?
This comes from our buddy Curdy Hong. Big shout out to those knuckleheads. Anheuser-Busch to close Moorhead plant and sell elevators in West Fargo and Sutton. So anyone who's ever driven on the superhighway right as you leave Tim Walz state of Minnesota and pop into the great state of North Dakota, former Governor Doug Burgum, who is going to do something great in D.C., you see this giant elevator. Matter of fact, I was once invited to the Anheuser-Busch elevator and went on a tour, and I witnessed the Clydesdale horses coming in, and I met the beer guy, the guy who does all the skits in the Busch, the guy who does the Busch skits and stuff. You don't know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I need more color. I'm not sure.
Okay, everyone knows what I'm talking about.
So
for me.
Well, okay, walk me through on this headline, right? Are they closing? You remember a couple months ago we did a headline about how beer demand, how the barley crop, right? We saw those acres dip significantly, right? Because we're just not drinking as much beer as we used to, right? The seltzers are really infringing in that. I got to think it's probably along those lines, right, Tommy?
Yeah, and people are drinking cocktails again with different bourbons or vodkas. The seltzer market, if you go to the liquor store, we're a little bit of a seltzer family, and it's just there's a lot of shelf space where you used to see all the light beers, all this beer.
It is.
I also, this is another side note. Now that you're talking about beer,
here we go. That's a topic I'm very familiar with.
Fargo Brewing announced 3 weeks ago they're closing. So there's a brewery in Fargo called Fargo Brewery, which made a pretty good little beer, and they're closing. So we might be seeing a little trend that this hoppy beer, fat guy beard thing might, and maybe a bad tattoo is ending on these super hoppy beers. I don't know.
Yeah, who knows? I'll tell you that it's not.
I don't think RFK Jr. drinks them because they're not healthy for you.
I look down at Joe down there. Me and Joe are doing our part.
Joe would qualify as that description. So Joe, pop your face on. Show him what a hoppy beer guy looks like. So, all right. Anyway, with that, but those are some of the things that are going to change with this new administration.
Absolutely.
Maybe they come out and say beer is bad. President Trump doesn't drink alcohol because his brother died an alcoholic, as he so says. And if you need color on that, watch Theo Von, who is who doesn't do drugs as much anymore, and just crazy stuff came out. I gotta tell you, looking back from all those podcasts that happened before the election, there's some great YouTube shorts coming out. And the other day I played something, and Gina said, "Who just said that?" And I said, "Theo Von." She goes, "Who's Theo Von?" I go, "Just some guy who has zero filter and just says things that are just interesting," we'll say there.
Yeah, I saw something, but Trump, he loves his McDonald's though, so he's probably telling RFK, "You can touch a lot of things, but you make sure you leave that McDonald's alone."
Yeah, did you see that clip of Trump where he said that, "Sorry everyone, I got promoted. I got to leave my job," and it was him getting promoted from.
Yeah,
he goes, I'm resigning at McDonald's. I got my old job back. Oh man, I tell you what.
Good stuff.
Hey, real quick, under Trump, I got to tell you, I've always watched this young man on Fox News, and I didn't know his background. And he's now they say they've been appointed, but they got to get voted in and all that stuff. There'll be some stuff, but the choices they're making are interesting. I mean, talk about being in America where you could be a Fox News weekend contributor and then be head of the, who the heck had this? Mr. Rick. Doggone, ring the bell. 5 stars. All right. This guy right here, I don't know how to say his last name. Peter Hegseth? Yeah, I mean, that guy, be smart. I think he went to Princeton or Yale and this and that and served, and he's a Minnesota boy. It's literally history is being made.
Yeah, that's a good way to
say it. I
say
don't know if it's good history or bad history. We won't know till later.
Guess what's going to tell us if it's good or bad? It's going to be history's going to decide, but it's going to be
Friday here. Have you guys missed me? I've missed you all out there in
Tommy, I always miss you. I always miss you. That's why I call you when you're not on.
Let's get to the questions, comments, and let's go have a great day.
Here we go. Mike, 800 acre sale in Lemoore County, North Dakota last week. 9.6. Tommy, what's that? 9.6. Is that good, bad?
Oh, You could have bought that stuff 10 years ago. I bet you. Hey, Mike, what was that ground going for 10 years ago? I bet you barely 2,500. So hit us up real quick. Come back to us on that. Ground up in just outside of Devil's Lake went for like 6,100, 6,200. That ground was trading $4,000 an acre a year ago. There's a lot of money out there, folks. There's a lot of money. I know some people might be struggling or in trouble, but there's also a lot of people who have a lot of paid off ground through multi generations of family who have the money to go buy a couple quarters or a section, as it would be in North Dakota. Mike, hit us back up. What was that ground worth 10 years ago? Very interested. My guess is 2,500. Ashley, go ahead, read this one, Connor.
Do you think the Rubio appointment affected the market, mainly soybeans? And which other appointments do you think will have an impact? I didn't have
all of them. I'm going to go with all of them. Well, all big jobs.
Yeah, and when I look at it, is I want to know who the Secretary of Ag. They haven't announced it. They got a lot of good candidates. And then Brady and I talked about the EPA guy, right? I forgot his name, but that's going to be a big deal when we're talking about renewable fuels. He doesn't his voting record is not necessarily friendly renewable fuels, but guess what? People can change. And then the other one, with Health and Human Services, RFK, like him, hate him, love him, despise him. He's going to make some changes, and he's got some big things. So those are the ones that catch my eye, Tommy.
Yeah, here's who I met right there, the You Betcha guy. So when I was at the Anheuser-Busch thing, that was the guy who started making those things. By the way, he's just wildly successful. The You Betcha guy, wildly successful. He has a studio, and he makes.
Oh, I know who you're talking about now.
Of course, you know.
You said the Anheuser-Busch guy. He's the Busch Light guy.
He's calling right now.
That's on you.
Anyway,
you got to give me
it's
some better
Friday.
context,
I'm here, everyone. All right, next question.
Ukraine. Remember that apparently the U.S. is paying for fuel, fertilizer, and seed for a lot of acreage. 60 Minutes had a special on it, but I can never track down exact amounts. Does it end in January? We'll know in January, I guess.
Yeah. Brady Huck. Hey, Brady, if you know by chance why feeders have a great bid, I'm interested. Brady Huck saying something. But feeders come out of the gate with a nice little bid here as we go. What else haven't we talked about? Do we need to talk about December options expire?
Yeah.
Folks, if you have grain at don't talk yet. Hold on, I'm not done. Folks, if you have grain at the elevator, they're going to be calling you, and you're going to have to make decisions. If we can help you in that decision process, give us a call, email us, text us. Go to the Advanced Trading website and say, I want to get a hold of somebody and get these questions answered. Do I store the grain or do I sell the grain? Which you did a premium about that yesterday, didn't you, CB?
Yeah, or along that topic, right, is just looking at it sparked my interest yesterday. We talked about how these Russian farmers are unloading wheat because guess what, Tommy? They can get 25% in a savings account. They don't care what the wheat price is, convert that grain to cash and stick it in a savings account. And so then I just wanted to walk through that math, right? I feel like a lot of my job is to try and eliminate that store and ignore mentality. And so how do we do that? Walk through the math. Make sure we're looking at, hey, if we have an operating note, if we're paying interest and we're sticking grain in the bin, where's our best avenue? Does it still make sense to pay that interest and store grain till July or have it hedged for July? Or does it make more sense to convert that to cash and eliminate that debt and making sure we're walking through that math? So that's what I tried to do. I hope it was beneficial.
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, everyone, this afternoon. Oh, yeah, that's what I wanted to say. Thank you. 20,000 people, maybe 10,000. Half are robots, half are real, but someone out there subscribing, liking videos, watching videos. We're putting out all types of content. Had the opportunity yesterday to join Tony St. James at RFD TV. Was asked to do the Cow Guy Close this afternoon, so I'll be on RFD TV around 1:20. And I don't know what the subject is yet, but when I find out, I'll let you know. And I have to do a little prep for that. What else?
Good stuff. We don't talk about it a lot, but we got Nopa Crush out at 11. It's going to be a record. Or estimates indicate it's going to be.
You already got the number? What did Beaks leak it to you? The
orange analysts indicate it is going to be a record.
Going to get us off.
So it's we've heard that a lot, mostly because so many more crush plants have come online, right? Like if we're not saying that once a month, once every 2 months that the Nopa Crush is a record, something's really wrong. but still interesting to pay attention to. And then we had good ethanol numbers too, Tommy. So the demand is there, right? And thank God it is, because with a record corn crop, really good bean crop, and guess what? Weather, I was looking at that GFS forecast in South America. It's not exactly threatening, so we got a good bean crop in South America and Brazil. We need exports to really carry us along. We'll see where they go.
Yeah. Hey, everyone. Thanks for subscribing. If you're ATI Pro Media client or would like to be an ATI Pro Media premium client and get content like what Connor did yesterday, actionable text. I did send out a text yesterday with the recommendation, and so far so good. I mean, futures and options have risk. Run that bad boy, because they do. But you know what? Holding your grain, paying a ton of interest, and forgetting to sell it, that has risk too. All right. I'm not going to touch any buttons because Rick
got you.
this thing all diced up on how to end the show.
I'll end it. You just give us something smart to wrap up the week.
Who's Illinois playing this week?
Football, I don't know. I've moved on to basketball, Tommy. When you're an Illinois fan, you got to eliminate. But we got Illinois, Alabama basketball. Alabama's number 2 in the nation next week. That'll be a big one. And then other one you got to tune in. We got Mike Tyson. I hope he beats the crap out of whatever that guy is. I'm going to be watching that one.
Yeah, that's on Netflix. That just shows you how media has changed. Real quick, do you see my Gabby's Kentucky beat Duke?
I watched the game because I wanted to watch these fab freshmen for Duke. So that's good to see, right? Post Calipari, they're still looking good. Good deal.
All right, everyone have a great weekend. Thanks for subscribing. Love to see you on the premium side. If you have any questions, comments, give us a call. We gladly help. Get a hold of an advanced trading broker or someone from the ATI Pro Media team. See you, buddy.